What's going on? How are you?
I say I'm in vacation in my country, in Uruguay.
Oh, man. Well, thank you for taking out the time to talk to us. Obviously, being on vacation, still taking phone calls and doing interviews, man. We appreciate it.
Yeah, I believe that you need to say that to my wife. She allowed me.
well, thank you to your wife for allowing you. So, what's the weather like over there in Uruguay?
It's warm.
Oh, nice. Pretty cold here in Las Vegas.
I'm ready to go to the beach.
Oh, congrats. I want to hit the beach myself.
Right.
Well, I land in Florida tonight, so I'll be at the beach tomorrow if I want to, really. But listen, Sampson, the reason we wanted to get you on is obviously, Canelo still hasn't made a decision about who he's going to fight. And we're just wondering, how did you feel when you heard the news that PBC made an offer to Canelo for $45 million to fight Jermall Charlo? And they didn't make an offer for David Benavidez and Canelo, which would have been, just as big, if not a bigger event, according to some.
Well, from the source, which is me, the promoter of David Benavidez, it was a lot more than that.
Well, you mean the money was more than the $45 million?
Definitely, 100%.
So they were offering Canelo more money than what is reported to fight Jermall Charlo, in your opinion?
I believe because that Jermall, it will sell very well, but the people want to see Benavidez.
Now,
and Benavidez, he took a very shortcut to get the fight, which nobody can say that he won the big paycheck. He will not have the big paycheck. And that is the most important. So whoever challenge Canelo Alvarez, I can guarantee you that my fighter, David Benavidez, he will get 1/3 or less than a half than anybody else to make that fight happen.
Why is that, Sampson?
That you will have a real fight. That my fighter, the challenger, it will not come for the money.
But why wasn't instead of Jermall, why wasn't a fight to fight David Benavidez offered to Canelo? I mean, David is the fighter who's been champion at 168 pounds. He's never lost. An exciting fighter, fan-friendly fighter. Why wasn't an offer made to Canelo to fight Benavidez next instead of Charlo?
Or both. Why not offer them both fights?
You want to know the money you're talking about?
No. ¿Por qué no le hicieron una oferta a Canelo para la pelea con David?
You got the offer for much more than $45 million.
Oh, okay. So we're misunderstanding. So you're saying that Canelo did receive an offer for Benavidez for more than $45 million, but it's just not being reported?
That is correct. You have the
breaking news.
Breaking news.
So how many more millions did they offer Canelo? Was because Charlo's 45, was David a $50 million offer? 48? What?
Much more, a lot more.
More than 50 million.
Much more than that.
And he said, and you're saying that, has he officially said no? Is that why David hasn't had a fight announced? Are you still waiting to see? Do they say yes?
I believe that the most important in this moment is the fight with Lemieux, but because we have a signed contract.
So why hasn't there been an official announcement from?
Because the date be in May, and our contract, that is a signed contract with the Lemieux, is on May. So, we don't know exactly if it be the 7th, the 14th, the 21st.
The 7th. So you're trying to see if Canelo takes the Charlo fight so you could put Lemieux on the undercard.
Most likely that it was the case.
That would be great. That would be great. David Lemieux versus David Benavidez on the undercard of Charlo Canelo is what you're saying, the possibility of.
that'd be great.
So now with Jamal's legal troubles, has there been even more interest from your side to say skip the Lemieux fight and let's just get David in there, or is that out of the question because of the contracts being signed already?
No, we have a contract. We're going with Lemieux.
Okay.
But can't you get out of that?
It's not the intention of Benavidez or myself at this moment. My intention is complying, fight, and see what happens.
Is there any concern on your guys' end now with Jamal's legal trouble that maybe Canelo and his team choose to take the 2-fight deal with Eddie Hearn and fight Bivol and Triple G this year? Because then that would put you guys out of the question till at least early next year.
We have a young fighter like it's Benavidez, and he's making much more money than any one of the last opponent of Canelo, which means he doesn't need the money. What he needs is the glory. And the glory is to fight Canelo, but doesn't mean that he's going for the money, because he will take much, much less like any one of the last opponents of Canelo. So it means that he give millions of dollars of his money to give it to Canelo.
So you're saying that David has expressed that he will take less than the 10 million Caleb Plant got in order to just get the opportunity to fight Canelo?
Much, much less.
Wow. And you still can't get that fight. You still haven't received an offer, though.
What do you mean?
For Canelo.
No, PBC is sent an offer.
For Benavidez.
And Benavidez agreed to take much, much less.
For Canelo.
Give him Canelo for the challenge. That is unheard. And for me, I believe this to prove to everyone that doesn't come for a payday, that doesn't need it, because he's making very good money every time he fights.
Now, but you're sure that Benavidez knew PBC made an offer to Canelo for a possible fight with himself?
I informed to Jose Benavidez Sr.
Okay. Wow. Wow. That must be a little bit disappointing for Benavidez to have not been able to take that fight or get that fight.
Well, but one thing Benavidez say, David, that the time is in his favor. It's not in Canelo's favor.
Yeah, he's the younger one.
That's correct. David Benavidez.
Well, I don't want to beat a dead horse. What's going on with Javier Fortuna?
Well, he's fighting next week in Dominican Republic.
Okay.
And then we'll see what we can do and who I can challenge.
And obviously it's been announced that Erickson Lubin and Sebastian Fundora will be fighting. And it looks like Sergio Garcia's on the undercard with Tony Harrison?
That's correct. That is confirmed.
And Harrison accepted the Sergio Garcia fight?
I have a signed contract.
Oh, wow, okay. Nice.
I don't have the contract of Harrison, but I do have the contract of Garcia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's accepted, but we don't know if Tony has.
Harrison, he will never back up of any fight.
Okay. So that's interesting because Luis Aries said that the fight was offered to him, and, you know, obviously Harrison said no, according to Aries.
He said that doesn't have the fight?
Luis Aries said that the fight was offered to Harrison for him to fight, Harrison Aries. Luis Cubas Aries, this trained with Salas?
Yeah. Okay.
So what's the plan for Fundora if he gets past this fight with Lubin? Are you expecting a Jermell Charlo fight, or are you expecting a vacant title shot?
I expect to win the fight, and then we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
I never look on when I have a fight contract, I don't look on the future after that, because it'd be a stupidity to think about something bigger that we have in our hands that is big enough. Lubin is a great fighter. And by the way, that it can be in pay-per-view too, but I prefer people to see him from Showtime.
Speaking of stupidity, is it stupid of us boxing fans to believe that a possible fight with Demetrius Andrade and Benavidez is possible, being as though one is with Dazn and the other is obviously aligned with PBC? Because David Benavidez said he would be willing to fight Demetrius Andrade, who obviously can't get a fight with anyone. And obviously that would be the biggest win on David Benavidez's resume if he was able to beat the two-time two-division champion, Demetrius Andrade.
Well, let me put it this way. I'm not aware of the conversations. I'm aware what he say, but knowing David Benavidez is not afraid to anyone, like many of the boxers. And if he say that, I imagine that is to prove that he will fight anyone, regardless how unlikely is to the people see this guy, you know what I mean?
But you think it's possible, or obviously with Benavidez fighting for Showtime and PBC, a fight with Andre right now is not in the cards?
Well, let me put it this way. I am an exclusive promoter of Benavidez. I will tell you the fight, it could happen. But in this case, the money needs to be right. But it could happen.
So it's not a case of you, because I know you've said on this show in the past that, you know, you have a relationship with Al Heyman, you know, like Javier Fortuna was a PBC guy, but you thought that, Javier would be able to go to DAZN. So are you saying that if you have the right conversations, David Benavidez can fight on DAZN? Or does the Andrade fight have to happen on Showtime or PBC?
It can be either way, but the money need to be superior, much more than to fight Canelo.
It has to be more than fighting Canelo.
That's correct.
Okay, so there was a rumored offer from Eddie Hearn to Jamal Charlo to face Andrade once upon a time for an unified fight at $7 million. Does that sound right to you?
You need to be much more than that.
More than $7 million to fight Andrade?
Yes, because it's not an easy fight. He's a great fighter. That whoever he wants to put that fight, that most likely is not so attractive. That one need to be for the money.
But damn, more than $7 million.
To talk about it.
Wouldn't that be a career high payday for David? Has he ever been paid $7 million?
Never.
So are you pricing yourself out in the eyes of the media and Eddie Hearn?
No, because this is what he deserves when he fight a guy that doesn't bring.
You say this is what he deserves when he fights a guy that doesn't bring what?
Nothing to the table.
Oh, but Andrade is a two-time champion. 2 divisions. How doesn't he bring anything to the table?
People doesn't pay to see him.
Okay.
So just to be clear, he would need to make more, David, that is, he would need to make more in a Andrade fight than he would in a Canelo fight?
Mm-hmm.
That is correct, because Canelo, it means a lot for David. And Andre is another fight that maybe it will win, but it will not look good.
So you're saying, so do you feel that Andrade gives Benavidez more problems than Canelo, or why wouldn't he look good?
It will beat, but it will not look good because it's the style make the fight, and it's not the right style for anybody. Doesn't mean that everybody is afraid of him. It will look, winning or losing, it will look bad. You know, let me tell you a story. When Sergio Maravilla Martinez came to America And I saw him in the first fight. I told him, you need to engage more. You need to fight it, to change a little bit your style. That doesn't happen with this kid. Andrade, it will never change. Because he wants the win. He doesn't want to show a good fight to the people who pay to see him. And that is the difference.
But isn't it up to the opponent? I mean, if you got a guy in there that doesn't engage, it's up to Benavidez. And Benavidez's style is perfect for Andrade because he's the come forward, high activity. But I get you, you know. So $7 million, just to be clear, because I know Eddie's going to hear this, and I mean Eddie Hearn, Frank Smith, they're going to hear this. 7 is the talking point. Like, we can't even start talking unless you're talking about $7 and more million.
That's correct.
And let me ask you, because Eddie likes to throw numbers out in the media. A month from now, you're not going to say, oh, well, David's career, Al Heyman has got him to this point. He's put him on TV. I can't just take him to Dazn.
I took Javier Fortuna.
All right. I want to make sure there's no hurdles here because obviously David Benavidez, no one's signing up to fight him, and no one's signing up to fight Demetrius Andrade either.
Demetrius Andrade, he will fight, but the only thing I want to give him a nice GPS that is we can find it in the gym, in the ring.
So let me ask you a question here. Does Luis De Cubas have anything to do with David Benavidez? Is he some sort of manager, advisor?
Luis De Cubas is like my son. We're together.
Okay.
And our fighters. And there's more personal relation than business relation. So we take his advice. He's a young man that he learned a lot. So I'm very happy to have his friendship and work together in several fighters.
The reason I ask is obviously he has some relations with Benavidez, relations with Keller Plant and David Morrell, and those are fights that the public wants. They want to see Morrell and Plant. They want to see Plant and Benavidez. Is something we've been wanting. So are those fights going to be able to happen, being as though that Louis is involved in those 3 fighters?
Well, let me put it this way. Many years ago, Plant, you have a few fights, and he told me the story of Dolla, and I feel, touched by that. And he said, I want David Benavidez to fight me when he was a champion the first time. I told him that in this moment, he doesn't need him, and he need to work hard to make it. So I say, I will not allow him to fight you in this moment. He took that in the wrong way, because several times Plant that I like him very much. I like the story. I like his wife. But it was not precise what I say. I say in this moment is wrong. The same thing I say with Maravilla Martinez when he fought, before he fought Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. I said, it's not the right time. Let's wait a little bit longer, and then you will get the most money possible, and this will happen. In this moment, Plant, he did what he's supposed to do. He came out to be a champion. He lost in a great fight with Canelo. Now, yes, I'm ready. But first is Lemieux, and then the rest.
But why would you be ready to fight Plant after he's no longer undefeated without a belt, when it was a belt and it could have been a unification?
Because David Benavidez, he want to take the shit out of him. He will fight for free to beat him up. It's something personal between both of them that I have nothing to do with.
Got it. Anything else for Sampson Lewkowicz?
Just wanted to ask Sampson, obviously many years working with Manny Pacquiao, that is. You've been credited for discovering Manny Pacquiao. Just wanted your thoughts on his career now that he's retired after the fight with Yordenis Ugas.
Well, thanks to him, today, it helped me to be who I am now. And after that, it was Sergio Martinez, Jorge Laguena Barrios when he fought Acelino Freitas, David Benavidez, now the Tower Inferno from Dolla. It's mean every one of them, and I don't want to miss anyone else, like Fortuna, like El Banana Rosario, all these fighters, it make me who I am today. But the first one, it was definitely Manny Pacquiao. But the rest of the people that the boxer that I work, it give me that possibility to be somebody in our industry. And I believe that I'm very pleased of my work and the move that I did, each one of them to have that opportunity to come to be a champion.
All right, Sampson, thank you very much. Tell your wife thank you very much. I don't know if you guys celebrate Valentine's Day, but definitely go give the wife some attention and love, and enjoy the beach. Enjoy your vacation, my brother. Thank you so much. Ness.
Thank you so much, Sampson, for coming on last minute. We always appreciate it. And yes, enjoy your vacation. Tell your wife thank you as well.
Well, let me tell you about that. Valentine's Day is beautiful, but for me and my wife, for the past 50 years, is Valentine's Day.
Oh, beautiful.
Well, Sampson, thank you.
I hope I can say the same with my wife. So, you know, I'm going to try to pull some inspiration from you there, following your footsteps.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sampson. Thank you to the wife as well. Once again.
For the video, feel free to hit the like, subscribe, and share. As always, if you want to support us to the next level, head over to the patreon.com/ThaBoxingVoice. We have tons of exclusive from Border Wars, Entitled, betting shows, the list goes on and on and on. But in addition to that, if you guys have questions for fighters, trainers, and promoters, this is where you can submit them. We will run out, get these questions answered, and put it back on the show just for you guys. Appreciate it. Peace.